Hello, I'm Mithali Singh and I'm currently working as a legal intern at Lexis and Company. And in this video, I will be talking about the landmark case in the Indian history, which is the case of Vishakha and others versus state of Rajasthan. I will be giving you a brief case analysis of one of this landmark judgment by the Supreme Court of India. I will be talking about firstly the basic introduction about the case, then what are the facts of the cases, third what were the issues which was raised in this case, and lastly we will be talking about the landmark judgment. So let's start. So Vishakha and others versus state of Rajasthan is a case which deals with the evil of sexual harassment at workplace of a woman at workplace. It is a landmark judgment in the history of sexual harassment which has been decided by the Supreme Court. Sexual harassment, the basic meaning of sexual harassment is an uninvited and unwelcome sexual favor or sexual gestures from one gender towards the other gender. It makes a person feel humiliated, disgusted, offended, and insulted to whom it is done. Sexual harassment can be determined from the following facts like passing of indicative or typical comments or jokes. Second, uninvited touching. Third, making appeals for sex. Fourth, sexually blunt pictures or text messages or emails. Fifth, discredit person because of sex. So accordingly, sexual harassment violates the basic right which is being given to every citizen of India, that is the right to equality under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution. So we can say that sexual harassment violates the fundamental right of women of gender equality, which is codified under Article 14 of Indian Constitution, and also the one of the most important fundamental right under Article 21, which says that right to life and to live a life and to live a dignified life. So sexual harassment also violates Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, or we can say that it violates the heart of the Indian Constitution, which is Article 21. So from the introduction, we conclude that the case of Vishakha and others versus state of Rajasthan revolves around the heinous crime, I would say, that which is sexual harassment at workplace. So facts of the cases are as follows. Bhanwari Devi, who was a social activist or worker in one of the Rajasthan village, she worked under a social development program at rural level which was about to stop child marriage in a village, and this social program was initiated by the Rajasthan state government. Bhanwari Devi endeavored to stop the marriage of the Ramkaran Gujar's daughter, who was merely less than 1 year old. That is, she was an infant only at that time. So as a part of her duty, Bhanwari Devi tried to terminate the marriage of the infant daughter. Even of her vainful efforts to stop the marriage, she failed. She couldn't stop the marriage and the marriage happened, but Bhanwari Devi was not excused or pardoned of this fault. She was exposed to or put forward to social punishment or boycott. September 1992, she was being gang raped by Ramkaran Gujar and his 5 friends in front of her husband only. The male doctor at the normal primary health care center declined to survey her, and the doctor at Jaipur only made confirmation of her age without any recommendation of her being raped in her medical report. At police station, too, she was being continually taunted by women countable for the whole of the midnight. In the past midnight, she has been asked by the policeman to leave her lehenga, which she was wearing at that time, as the evidence of that incident, and go back to her village. After that, she was only left with the blood-stained dhoti of her husband to wrap her body. By the policeman, she was asked to remove her lehenga which she was wearing, and she was asked to wear only, she was left with the dhoti of her husband to wrap her body. it was this humiliated at that time, and as a result of which they had to spend their whole night in that police station. The trial court made the discharge of the accused people for not being guilty. The High Court in this judgment propounded that it was a case of gang rape which was conducted out of revengeful situation. So all these statements and judgment aroused women and NGOs in Rajasthan to file petition in Supreme Court of India. So all these facts made a Bhanwari Devi to file petition in the Supreme Court, and even though the trial court declared accused not being guilty, still the Bhanwari Devi and the other NGOs came in support of Bhanwari Devi, and uh, uh, NGOs in Rajasthan supported Bhanwari Devi, and they together filed a petition in the Supreme Court of India. So Bhanwari Devi and others filed a petition in Supreme Court with a name Vishakha and others versus State of Rajasthan. Now we'll move forward towards the issue which was being raised in this landmark case. So the issue which was being raised in this landmark case was whether the enactment of guidelines mandatory for the repudiation of sexual harassment of women at workplace. And also this case highlighted the problem of gender equality, outraging the modesty of women, sexual harassment at the workplace, and rape as societal issue of utmost intensity. Now I will be discussing the judgment of this case, which is the judgment of Vishakha's case was conveyed by Chief Justice J.S. Verma as a representative of Justice Sujata Manehar and Justice B.N. Kripal on account of writ petition which was filed by Vishakha, the victim of this case. The court observed that the fundamental rights under Article 21 and under Article 21, Article 14, Article 19(3)(1)(g) of Indian Constitution that every profession, trade or occupation should provide safe working environment to the employees. It hampered the right to life and right to live the dignified life also, and the basic requirement was that there should be the availability of safe working environment. The Supreme Court held that women have a fundamental right towards the freedom of sexual harassment at workplace. It also put forward various important guidelines for the employees to follow them and avoid sexual harassment at workplace. The court also suggested to have proper techniques for the implementation of cases where there is sexual harassment at workplace. The main objective or the main aim, I would say, of the Supreme Court was to ensure gender equality, which is guaranteed under Article 14 of Indian Constitution, and to ensure that there should be no discrimination towards women at their workplace. Everyone should be treated equally. Women should not be harassed at their workplace because the women also have a fundamental right, that is right to equality, and fundamental right which is guaranteed under Article 21, which states that right to live life or to right to live a dignified life also. So the Supreme Court made sure that women should not suffer any kind of discrimination, and their right to life should not be hampered at any cost. Before this case, there was no definition of sexual harassment at workplace, but after this case, the Supreme Court made the term sexual harassment well defined. Accordingly, any physical touch or conduct showing of pornography, any unpleasant taunt or misbehavior, or any sexual desire towards women, sexual favor will come under the ambit of sexual harassment. So all these things like unpleasant taunt or misbehavior, physical touch or conduct, or showing of pornography. So all these above mentioned things came under the ambit of sexual harassment after this landmark judgment by the Supreme Court. Also held out guidelines that a person who is in charge of a particular institution of office, whether it be private or public, will be responsible in taking effective steps to prevent sexual harassment of women at workplace. penalties shall be charged from the accused people for conducting sexual harassment, it had become a very crucial topic to act upon for the prevention of sexual harassment of women at workplace. In case of private companies, the strict rules regarding the punishment of sexual harassment shall be included also. In case of sexual harassment is conducted by the outsiders, then the person in charge of that institution must take strict actions for the conduct of such crime. So this brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video.